Huh?
Maybe.
Hey! Opa! Rocket! Yeah! All right,
Wow.
we were about to do a screen recording on an Instagram video call.
Yes. That's wild.
So yeah, dating after a long-term relationship, specifically when coming out of a
Yes.
cult. Yeah, what was your experience like?
It was just weird because I didn't know. And so I remember going on a date with someone, and this is obviously, you'll see the trauma come out. We were
Wait,
walking
how,
down the street.
how did you? When is this?
This was like when I was 31. I was in Texas.
This is right out.
And
This
it
is
was like,
how many years out of the cult?
I had been out for a while, but I had never dated. So I left at 23, but I was married until 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got divorced, I didn't want to date. But then after like a year, I was like, okay, he had moved on, and I felt good about that. So I was like, okay, I can now also put a toe in the water. So went
That's
on this
crazy for the first
date.
time ever.
No, it was so strange.
People talk
And
about first date nerves, like your nerves had to be crazy. Like you're like, I've never
well,
done this at all.
I've never done it. And the thing is, it's not like I could go to I at the time. Now I realize I could have, but I didn't feel like I could go to anybody for help because all the people who had left the cult, they had been dating for a while because they had left when they were, also 23 or younger, and so they had been in the dating game for a while. And then everyone else, yeah, everyone starts dating in college. So they
Yeah.
were like, "What do you mean this is your first date?" So I was like, "I'm just not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to wing it." But I was walking down
Mm.
the street with him, and I was near the road. And he, as we were walking, just sort of gently grabbed my arm and just switched me to the other side.
Yeah.
And I was so upset because I was like, he's trying to control me. Like, what are you doing?
Oh. Oh.
So I was like, why did you do that? And he was like, what do you mean? Because for him, it was so like, it's just
Yeah.
how he exists in the world. So it didn't even clock for him what he was doing, but he had moved me. So I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And he
Mm.
was like, oh, it's so you don't get hit by cars. And I was like, well, that's nice. So,
Decide if I want to get hit by cars or not.
right, exactly. How dare you? What if I wanted to get hit by a car? But yeah,
Uh,
many mishaps.
was it something you disclosed at the date where you're like, just so you know,
No,
I've never done this and I also grew up in a cult, so like I may not really get the lingo here.
no. I mean, he knew I'd grown up in a cult, but I'm not gonna at 31 tell this person like you're my first date ever. It's
True.
like I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that to myself, and I'm gonna power through.
Yeah.
So
How did it go?
hilarious. It was great. He was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think
Mm-hmm.
since the cult, because my radar is what it is, um, I've had really lovely encounters mostly because I just won't go on a date if you're not kind and if you're not gentle and if you're not like all these things because I was used to the opposite. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to get into dating, let me make sure that it's somebody who is
Yeah.
like lovely.
Yeah. It seems to be like you kind of, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but you kind of blame yourself for the type of people you go on dates with.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I
you're
mean, to
doing
be fair, you kind of are in some ways, right? It's like a collaboration, but like you also have a role.
Yeah, you did the vetting process here.
Yeah.
Like, you gave this person
Also,
the green light.
the other thing that I very much enjoy, because when I lived in LA, people would be like, isn't dating in LA terrible? For me, a very bad date is really funny because I know I'm going to talk about it with my sisters later. So if I'm on the
Uh,
date and it's really bad, I actually am like still having a good time because I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get on the phone when I get in the car and just
yeah,
so.
yeah. Are you dating now?
No, because I am in Jakarta, and that's a whole other thing. But basically, it's a whole identity crisis. This might be a fun, interesting topic.
Let's talk about
Uh,
it. Why are you in
okay, should we just
Indonesia?
Um, the larger story is I have some sort of karmic debt to pay off. Um,
It's like a life in a nutshell. Like what? Long story short, I fucked up somewhere, and now I'm here, taking this curriculum for God knows why.
exactly. No, I had been in LA for 7 years, and I love LA.
Mhm,
It is a difficult place, but it's
mhm.
not difficult, I think, for me. While I was in it, it was not difficult because I didn't notice how difficult it was. I was having a great time.
Why is it difficult? Why do you say
Um,
that?
what's that? Oh,
Why is it
I think
difficult?
I think people struggle to find good community. And
Mhm.
because I have been a yoga instructor wherever I am, it's always been easy for me to find a community.
Yeah.
So I've never struggled to find good people or find good friends and grow a community that is just lovely.
Yeah.
Because again, my vetting process is pretty good because the yoga community can be pretty culty, but I have that
Oh,
radar just
oh,
locked
you
in.
do, don't you? You do, don't you?
Yeah, it's actually, but again, then it's also really fun to be in the yoga community and just to immediately red flag all this. Oh my God, it's so fun.
You're in the class like bullshit.
This one yoga instructor, it was amazing because I talked to her before I got into the class. And I was like, "Hi, I'm Angel. Nice to meet you." She was like, "Okay, great. Grab 2 blocks. Nice to meet you. Welcome to class." I was like, "Great." I go in, I'm waiting, and she walks in and she just does this like, "Hi." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh
Whoa,
no." And then
whoa.
she just switched and she was like, "Welcome everyone." And I was
Mhm.
like, that's not how you sounded. That's And she taught the whole class in that yoga teacher persona. And then after
Ah,
class, she switched back. And she was
you're
like,
like,
"Thanks for
what?
coming." I was
Whoa.
like, "What?"
Yeah.
Um, but very entertaining again.
Hmm.
So,
Which is such a great way
but
to
yeah,
take situations that are not like as spiritually offering as you hoped for, just to take it as a
yeah.
comedy. Like, this is funny.
Of watching it as a movie. So I'm like, this is a scene in the movie.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah,
the scene where the yoga
yeah,
teacher is
yeah,
pretending.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I heard someone say one time that politics doesn't make any sense until you realize it's supposed to be watched as a comedy, and then I'm like, oh, this is great.
And then it's entertainment,
Yeah,
and then it's
yeah.
not entertainment because people are dying. But
True,
if
true.
you
That's an
cannot
important point.
remove yourself, yeah, if you cannot remove yourself though from the like flare up that happens when you're
Yeah.
attached to it, it just harms you. So it's a whole
And
thing.
then you can see it
But
as then you see it as a gift, because it
exactly.
is a gift. You know, the teaching. I think Alan Watts does the teaching where he says that stress and laughter are the same energy, just expressed differently.
Mm.
Like
Oh,
someone, your friend hid your keys, and you're like, fuck, 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 I'm angry. Where is it at? Where is it at? And then you hear them jangling it, and immediately it transforms to like, ah,
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah, that's wild.
Mm.
Um, but anyways, I had never struggled to create community in LA. And I had an identity of like, I'm Angel, I'm a yoga teacher, I make friends very easy, I'm attractive, I move through the world very well, very easy. I have no troubles. And then there was a client that I had in LA that I had known for about 3 years.
And yoga.
And with like, it's like body work, because I also train.
Hmm. What
Um,
do you mean?
so we had been like I also do personal training. So we had been doing a combination of like
Huh.
yoga, breath work, and then some cardio, some weightlifting, some like postural. Um, so known him for about 3 years. He made a joke, which I thought it was a joke, where he said, "Angel, you should come on the boat." And I was like, "Obviously, I'll come on the boat." And we were
What's
in
is the
LA,
boat
so
just
I thought,
just
well,
like, hey, come out on the boat one day kind of thing?
I had seen a picture of his dad with a fish, and I said, "Well, that's a great fish." And he said, "Yeah, it is nice. Hey, you should come on the boat." And I said, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah,
And
duh.
then I went the next day, and he was like, "So we should really talk about the details then." And I was like, "What?"
Okay.
And he was like, "Well, the boat's The boat's in Indonesia. And I was like,
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
right. And I have done enough yes and in my life to know not to be like, no, 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 that's not what I meant.
What do you
I
mean?
was
Yes,
like,
and.
well, like in comedy, you don't say no. Like if
Yeah.
you say, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Like
yes,
the first rule of improv, you can't say no.
right.
Yes,
So
and I'm gonna have to
he was
do
like,
that
that's in
later.
Indonesia. And I was like, well, how are we going to do that? And
Yeah.
then so we started talking, and then
Life
I was
becomes
supposed to,
improv.
yeah. So then I ended up coming over. I was supposed to be here for a month, and they were like, push your visa, push your visa. So I pushed it out for 6 weeks. And then they were like, can you come back? So then I started going back and forth between LA and Jakarta, which is quite the trek.
And you came here for work, unrelated to the boat situation.
No, I came. I have never made it to the boat. I came here for work,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
then
Okay.
they were like, yeah. So then I started working with them, and
What was the work
anyways,
thing?
I
What'd you get? What kind of work are you doing over in? Huh?
same like health and wellness.
Okay.
Um, I teach. It's so difficult sometimes for me to articulate this. So let me try to articulate what it is that I actually do. So I teach people how to be the thing that you are in between your internal and external worlds. So you are like a multidimensional being. You have a physical body, you have an external life and an internal life and a spiritual life and an emotional life. And all of that matters and impacts who you are. A lot of us only look at the physical life, like our work and our body. And then we wonder why we have the wife, we have the car, we have, $1 billion, but we're unhappy and we're posting about how unhappy we are on Twitter. So it's like, yes, because you've ignored your internal life. So let me sort of introduce you to this concept that your body is the vehicle that experiences and traverses both worlds.
Yeah.
And if you can get in touch with your body and you can understand how to communicate with it and how it communicates with you, and understand the difference between your thoughts and your feelings and mind knowledge versus sacred knowledge, you will be very easily able to traverse your life with very little suffering. So that's what I do.
Okay.
And then the tools that I use are the body and breath work and yoga and training and whatever it is. But the body is like the vessel that traverses everything.
I want to get back to the body in a second. Finish the story on the boat.
So, I started coming over and going back and forth. And it was so interesting for me to arrive here in Asia. And I grew up in Japan. So I had already known that when I'm in Asia, I am viewed very differently than when I am in America. And so I would land here. This is really fun. I would land here and immediately lose all the value that I had. So I no longer had an identity as a yoga teacher because I don't teach any public classes here.
Yeah.
So that my identity is. I think that I'm beautiful, which yes, in that world. In this one, they were like, "Do you want to go to Korea to like fix?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Listen, we can at least get you some Ozempic." And I was like, "Thank you so much. No,
Yes.
thank you."
Thank you.
But it's all very well intentioned. And they were like, "Are you going to do anything about your freckles though?" And I'm like, "No."
Really?
Yeah. So it's just a totally different beauty standard. And then
a different beauty standard altogether. Okay, makes sense.
yeah. And so then I don't have the identity of being like a beautiful woman. And
does that hit you
being,
deep? Does that hit you for real? Or are you like, nah, I'm still good looking though? Or are you like tripping for real about it?
I'm not tripping.
Initially though, were you like, oh damn, like, face card doesn't swipe around here, damn it.
Initially it was funny for me because I was like, this is hilarious. Like,
this is crazy.
You don't even know. Yeah. But after a while, I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's mean. Yeah. And then now it's back to being funny because I'm like, listen, it is what it is. it was really funny for like 8 months. And then after a while, I was like, you guys, like this is just mean.
You shouldn't
Like,
tell
and then
people this shit. Like, comments to
yeah,
yourself, bro.
totally. But then it was a very brief jaunt into that, and then it's back to being like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, and then so that part of my identity goes. And then I also think of myself as like a friendly person able to make friends.
Yeah.
But here, people were not interested in being friends with me
Hmm.
because here people are still like they're climbing the ladder. They live in a caste system here. And
Mm-hmm.
so you don't really make friends in the caste above or below you. You
Mm-hmm.
stay in your caste. I don't really have a caste because I'm not slotted anywhere. And then every single woman my age is married with children. And so they are friends with their mom groups. And
Mm-hmm.
I am not, there's nothing appealing about me when you are trying to fit into a caste system and trying to climb a ladder. I cannot offer you like I can't offer you social status. I can't offer you a job because none of the women in the cast, I guess, that I'm in, none of them work.
What
So
cast are
I
you in?
can't. I'm in probably an upper. I think most foreigners usually will slot in an upper level,
Mhm.
um,
Just like an
but then also
upper level socioeconomic status you're talking about.
yes,
Yeah.
so upper level socioeconomic. But everyone in that level does not work. And then the people who do work, I also have nothing to offer because they're at work. And so in
Yeah.
their time off, they're trying to make connections or they're trying to work out or whatever. And then, so it was also realizing that, like, oh my God, no one wants to be friends with me.
Mm.
So my identity has to go as well. And so it's
Mm.
like, okay, who am I without all the things that I thought that I was? Like, who am I if I'm actually not easy to talk to and I'm actually not a yoga teacher and I'm actually not desirable and like
All the things that I
what's
identify with were just as a byproduct of an environment I was in previously. Now I'm in a different environment.
and none of those things are true. And so what's
The
true?
previous ones are not true, right? Like those are just
Right.
contextual.
And I think
Yeah, man, it's good.
the super interesting thing is that I would land in LA and my identity would pick right back up and I knew how to run that
Wow.
part. And then I would fly back here and I would have like a I don't understand what's happening. I don't know how to do this. So seeing the contrast for me was useful. And
Hmm.
then now I'm like, why am I holding on to this identity anyways? It's
Which one?
literally just, well, that's the thing. It's like, why am I holding on to these stories? Why do I need to be this person or that person? Or like, why do I care? Why do I need people? Why do I need to think of myself this way? And why do I need other people? Like, do I need other people to think of me this way?
What'd you
And then it's
discover when
like,
you ask yourself those questions?
well, I don't need people to think of me a certain way because one of my biggest things after leaving a cult is that no matter how much effort you put into trying to control someone else's thoughts, it never works. Everyone has their own
Mm.
internal life. Everyone has their own
Mm.
thoughts. So it's never that one. So it's always a me problem.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like if I don't if I let go of these things, can I then revert to a blank slate and start there and just be in the blank slate rather than writing new things on it
What does the
instead of
identity become at that point?
where I am right now is I'm just trying to stay in the blankness of it and just follow the opportunities that come. So instead of, I have an
Mm.
opportunity that showed up and I wouldn't usually take it because I don't identify as that.
Yeah.
But because I'm real big on like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I've identified as in the past. Does it excite me and do I want to investigate it? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. So now I'm starting to head down corridors that I have never headed down before. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because the previous identity has been dissolved.
Hmm.
So I'm like, oh,
Is it something that you see like it's important that your identity is like you learn a lot about things through identifying with them? So like
yeah,
you identifying with something is the way that you like lean into it, but you need to refresh it. It needs to be something that's not clinging.
Well, I think of it as it's telling you a story about yourself, and it's telling you a story about what's important to you.
Because
And
you're
so
drawn to
since
it.
yeah. And so even when I meet people, if the first thing they tell me is like, well, I'm actually a really rich guy. It's like, okay, immediately I know that has
It's always
nothing to
my
do with
intro.
anything. Yeah, well,
It's
here you
always how I
go.
open.
Here's the um
This is my dating profile right here.
yeah, um but I know immediately that the first few things that you tell me are things that it's very important that I view you as that.
Yeah,
So whether you're true or not is almost irrelevant, but you are telling me your desire, like I would
yeah,
like for you to view me this way.
yeah.
um so then the world becomes very interesting because
Hmm.
and then reality TV becomes very interesting.
Mm.
um and the interesting thing, if you watch Love Is Blind,
I,
there
I
was
haven't.
this,
I don't watch it.
the concept though.
Totally.
Yeah, so the concept is that like you date behind a wall, and there was this one couple that I thought was perfect because she was sort of the archetype of the gold digger, and he had come on saying, I always end up dating a gold digger, and I don't want that. I want a girl who like loves me for me.
Was he an art dealer?
He What's that?
Was he an art dealer?
He was something. And the
Yeah.
first thing that he says is that, like, well, I come from really a lot of privilege, and like I don't struggle, and like I can provide for you. And I was like, bro.
You're
And
literally
so,
leaning into this.
yeah. And I'm like, you literally want the thing that you say that you don't want because you're leading with money.
Hmm.
And then you're surprised when people want you for money. And if he, of course, ended up with the girl who was looking for a rich guy because
Hmm.
he came in and immediately was like, hey, I'm a rich guy and I'm looking for like a stay-at-home person that'll just make me happy about myself. And
Yeah,
she was like, agreed. And I was like,
yeah.
that's so funny. But you always will give yourself away, even if you
Mm.
don't mean to. So that's another thing that I just really enjoy watching. Just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
At at this point, what are you starting to identify with?
At this point, I am learning about power and how power comes through when you don't need it to filter through an identity. Like power can be very pure when
Hmm.
it's not coming through an identity filter. Like if I
Okay.
need you to view me as a powerful woman,
Yeah.
then I need you to respect my power as a woman. I need you to meet me as a woman. And that'll be the main, like, I'm not like, don't tell me I'm powerful, tell me I'm a powerful woman. And then I'll get stuck in that. And then
Yeah.
that is going to be my way into the world. And that's going to be not just my presentation, but that'll also be all the problems that I run up against because of the
Mm.
identifier.
It's like a fragile thing because you're putting constraints around it.
Yeah, because if
Yeah.
you make the jar this big, you're immediately like, that's your limit. You can't get past that.
Yeah.
Um, so learning to take I guess the broadness of your identity, and if you can just dissolve the walls, then you get a bigger experience. So I'm
Mm.
trying to just let everything go and have the experience. Like, what does power actually feel like in the body? Like, how does that come out? And then also, where does it get stuck? Where do
Without
I run
being
up?
without being generated and maintained through like a psychological identity that you receive power
Right.
from.
Well, and also, if it's pure power, it's
Yeah.
endless. If I find myself tired, like let's say with this podcast, if I leave this podcast and I'm like, that took a lot of energy out of me, then it's likely that I was performing and it took tons of effort. And so it wasn't true power. It was like I was trying to generate a force to be like, this is how I present, and
Yeah.
perhaps, and I hope good enough, and like how was I, and was the performance good for you?
Yeah. Do you think we'll sell tickets again?
And if I can just like chill, then I have endless resource because like this is one of the
Yeah.
things that I realized about worry is exclusively an ego problem. the soul is never worried. The
Well,
soul
wait,
is just its little journey.
before we go to the worried soul tangent, just want to add one more thing about the power, because
Mm.
something when you are able to notice that you're getting ready to perform,
Right. Yeah.
and you release yourself of the responsibility of making sure this person perceives you a certain way, and you feel that, like for me it's like like a nice resettling in the body, and
Yeah.
I feel this energy that, instead of being borrowed from the successful performance I'm making, like, borrowing energy from applause,
Right.
I just have the energy that would have been spent on the performance back with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Truly.
that feels like fantastic.
Oh, all that we are is an energetic system. So
Mm,
that's why it's important to like learn how to harness your energy. Like what actually belongs to you? What is your endless source that you can tap into, and how does it feel? And then notice the difference. Like when I go into work, I don't turn into a different person. I am still this person. So
mm,
work for me is very easy. It's not taxing. I can work all day and be like, okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
mm.
And one of the things that I do is I work with these two twin boys who are hilarious. They're children. And for other people, they're very, very difficult. They're just so energetic and they play off of each other. You know, one of them throws something and laughs, and the other one thinks it's the funniest thing they've ever seen. And then they add on, and so it could be very chaotic, but I'm not here to dominate and to make them respect me. You know, I'm here to teach them. So
Mm.
if I'm a good teacher, I will facilitate their learning somehow, but I don't also have a specific way through which they must learn.
Yeah.
So if we want to learn this skill through balancing, great, we'll balance. If we want to learn this skill through, like, can we do a plank challenge? Great, then that's what we'll do. But I'm not locked into something that I need them to agree to. So for me, being with them is very pleasant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm not fighting them for dominance of the moment. We're just all in the same thing together.
Yeah. The idea of like containing those kids and forcing the energy to move in a certain direction, or
For
leaning
what?
in, yeah, relaxing into the flow of saying, like, what direction is this going and how can I just like
Yeah.
gently steer it in a way that can
Yeah.
be useful for them, instead of being just completely chaos, but not
Right.
becoming rigid and becoming stressed.
Right. Yeah. And I do it in a way that makes sense to me. So I am not taxed. When I leave the situation with them, the same thing. I don't like, I'm like, that was fun.
Mm. How do you do that? Like, how do you switch it in your brain to go, like, these kids are being fucking wild, and I got to kind of corral them into something useful with our time. How do you move into
I
that
mean,
play role?
it's curiosity because
Mm.
again, I'm not the main character, you know? So if I'm not the main character, there's space for a lot of different things to happen. And if I desire an outcome, and the desired outcome is for them to learn more about themselves, there's a million ways I can do that. If I
Interesting.
am the main character and I want them to learn something that I want to teach them, there
Uh,
immediately becomes much fewer outcomes, much fewer. And there's much different, I have much fewer options for my behavior. I have much fewer options for their behavior. If I'm not the main character and the desired outcome is the most important thing, then everything is available. Maybe I use different words. Maybe I use different stuff. Maybe we change our location. Like everything is on the table. If I'm like, you need to stay on your yoga mat and we're not going to leave until you do like 3 push ups or until you do this shape right, then the only thing I can do is dominance to get them to create the physical thing that I want. And then I quote win, but nothing useful has been accomplished. Like what has been accomplished in there? You know,
it's really
so
interesting. It's really interesting when you start to look at the um, desire to control other people's thoughts and desire to control other people's behaviors as a job that's not yours, and being able to feel yourself be relieved of that. I think that seems like that for me has been the thing that's allowed me to really actually want to do that, because initially it was like, if I actually try to make sure people think that I'm X, Y, and Z as a person, then I'll feel good around their presence, because the whole idea of, you know, like, I'm not who I think I am, I'm not who you think I am who I think you think I am, that whole thing. Like, then I'll feel like energized by the persona that I'm forecasting or projecting. But like, man, when you really don't, when you tell yourself, it's not my job to change people's behavior at all, that it can be like the greatest promotion of your entire life if you let it.
Well, I think my life is so much fun for me to live. Like, I'll work with people, I'll deal with people, and people will be like, how can you stand that person? And I'm like, because it's fun. Because I don't need anything from them. I can just watch and be like, wow, this is a very chaotic scene. Lol.
You know? I have this practice at work where, like, I have this practice at work where, like, because a lot of my job is just like one-to-one sales, selling them a training program, like a 6-month fitness weight loss program kind of thing. And so I'll get some people that are just like not buyers, you know, like tire kickers from the jump. And I've done probably 2,000 or more sit down in person 1-hour consults in my career, so I have a pattern recognition. And I'm like, this is, and so, like, I'll get an absurd customer, and I will just think in my head, because like I can either do one or two things. I'm going to spend this next 45 minutes with them, one way or the other, and I can either be irritated that they're not going to buy, and this is going to be wasting my fucking time, and I hate this person, and I hope they die. Which that's sometimes on my bad days, that's my thought process. The other thought process is like, this is like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to articulate, but like, this is my opponent of sorts. Like, this is my, this is the resistance. This is my teacher here, manifested in the most ludicrous form to try to knock me off, to try to make me decide to suffer. And this is their best form yet. And it makes me, like, the way I feel now, it makes me, I start to really crack up during my meeting with the person, because I'm like, this is crazy.
Because it's hilarious.
Yeah, this is so fucking funny, bro. Like, I have no idea how we got here.
And you're like,
the thing that helps me so much is I go, like, I see them as an actor, you know, and I go, you are nailing this role.
Well, that's the thing, is like, we are all playing a character, you know, like, we all have our like beingness that we try to get to, some of us, but most of us are playing the character, and we really, really want you to play along, you know? So it's interesting when you aren't playing along to see them try and reinforce their character.
Oh yeah, they get louder, you know.
They do. It's amazing. And then for me, I'm entertained. Like, I had this one person at a party come in, no one was paying attention to them. So they, out of nowhere, was like, anyway, the earth is flat. And I was like,
you're incredible. You are absolutely remarkable.
They needed attention so bad, and they were trying little things. They were trying little gets, and the little gets weren't working because people in the room were like not attention seekers. So everyone was sort of like not paying attention to them. It was like a dinner party, so it was very low key. It wasn't a like big attention getting moment. And they just got sick and tired of no one paying attention to them. So they were just like, anyway, the earth is flat. And I was like, that's incredible. And somebody bit. Somebody was like, oh my God, I can't believe. And then they got engaged in their battle in the corner. And I was like, more power to you. But I was like, that's amazing.
One little thing that I think can be useful to practice this too is like talking about energy conservation. Like, that seems to be kind of a thread we've talked about a bit today. When you do, like, when you interact with someone that has this persona that you can tell is they're trying to generate a certain response out of you. So like, you can either like, I guess you could either not be aware of it and have that response generated. You leave and you're like, wow, that person is rich and crazy and cool. the most important person, whatever. Or you can be aware
Right.
of them trying to generate the response from you. And then you can either spend a bunch of energy resisting it, like you're not going to get this out of me, or
Yes.
you can just humor it by leaning into it and be like, wow, you have so much going on.
Yeah.
Like, and watch them lean
Yes.
into their character, help them establish their character they're playing. Play with them.
I think that people have this idea that, like, you know, if somebody comes in and they're like, oh, I'm a pretty girl, or like, I'm a handsome guy. If you don't agree, that somehow it is now your job to disagree with them and to make them see your point of view. Which,
Exactly.
like, why?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
You know
why
Tom-
don't you just leave it?
You know Tom
And
Segura?
then, who? No. Oh, I mean, yes, because I recognize the name, but no, because I
Tom
don't
Segura
know
is-
what to type.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He's a famous comedian.
Okay.
He says his argument strategy since he turned like 40 is just like he just swaps positions. Like if someone disagrees, he now agrees with them. Like I agree with you now. Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. And he said it ends every argument.
That's amazing. But I think also a big thing that the reason for that is also religion teaches you this is the structure, and anyone who is not in the structure is incorrect. And as a good Christian, or as a good pastor, or as a good friend, or whatever, you need to corral your friend who is misguided.
Yeah.
And then being that
it's your responsibility.
that mindset, right? Being that mindset has gotten us the world we live in. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let people run their own lives. Like, why would I be like, Braxton, you're doing it again. You need to not, like, you know.
I am.
But that's what you do. Your energetic system just goes.
Why do you what like?
So how is
do
that
that?
helpful for everybody?
Do you think it's
How
just
is
like
that helpful?
you think
How's
it's
it
a
helpful
programming
for
that we do like whenever
Yes.
we just learned it
Well,
as like you're supposed to do this for other people, so now we do it?
I think there are truths that are true, and we intrinsically know that. Like, but we don't let people learn it in their own way. Like, I think it's true that, like, obviously, when you are healthy, that's best, right?
Yeah.
Like, not being overweight, not being underweight, being healthy for you is best.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And that is just true.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm not going to do is be like, Braxton, you're unhealthy. Like, you're unhealthy. You got to do better. You got to do, like, because why? If I truly care about you, wouldn't I want to learn your story, understand why, and then just engage with you? Like, do you want to come for a walk with me? Should we, like, talk about whatever it is that you like? If you like Lord of the Rings, great. Let's talk on Lord of the Rings, but I want to go for a walk. Yeah. Like, why wouldn't I do that, as opposed to being like, you have to do better. You got to eat less. You got to, you know, or whatever it is. We just default to, like, what a disappointing human being this person is. And I'm like, well, why? Like, even if there are, like, universal truths, like, you know, also being really promiscuous for me, I think that live your life. I'm so happy that you get to live your life as you should. I think not being super promiscuous feels better. And I think energetically it feels better. Mindfully it feels better. It just is better.
Yeah.
But what I'm not going to do, again, is be like, how disappointing you are. Well, what a failure. You know, but that is the default that we live in for some reason.
I think it's too, like, when we lean into it from just like a intellectual standpoint, like, I'd want to convince you that you should be one way. It just is like a way that I can, like, stress test my belief that I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So it has very much to do with your identity and not the other person. You know, even if the thing is true. And that's, like, I see this with addicts. You know, when people are trying to help an addict, they usually, instead of sitting with them and learning their story, it's just like, stop it. Just stop it. Yeah. Like, I want to help you. Stop it. And it's like, okay, if you've done any work with addicts or in the psychological realm, like that, obviously that doesn't work. If it worked, it would have worked.
Yeah.
So something else will work, but are you willing to let go of your identity and go into the trenches with them? And it's okay if not.
Yeah.
but this isn't working. So
I feel like one transition in my life over the last, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years or so. Like, I don't really feel like I ever try to help anyone ever anymore,
yeah,
specific, intentionally. And it's been one of the greatest things I've ever done for myself.
but isn't that true? Like, I think the best thing that you can do for anybody ever is just be fully alive as yourself.
That's what I'm saying, fam. Like, the best gift you ever give somebody is the quality of your energy. And if that means I gotta just be in myself for myself, that's it. That's it.
I think I mean, and yes, it's true. Everything is true in a certain context. It is wonderful to help people,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not wonderful to try and go to hell and drag them out of hell. They can make their own way out. People
Yeah.
are strong enough to face whatever battle they're facing
Yeah.
and face your own battles. And usually the
Yeah.
people who are really trying very, very hard to help, that's literally they're in the middle of a battle as the
Yeah.
helper.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so exhausting. Like, two like one really good tool I've used is only answer questions. Only is wait until someone fucking asks you a question, says, "What do you think about this?" or "How do you think you ought to?" That's when it makes sense to give your 2
Yes.
cents.
That's my thing is if I am asked, or sometimes people will be like, what do you think? And I'll be like, okay, what are you open to?
Well, let me tell you what I think. So last week, whenever you said that shit, I thought that was stupid.
Because I view the world in a certain way, and I can tell you what I see. A lot of people, most people, are just not interested in what I see.
They don't give a
Like
shit.
the way they don't give a shit. And also, this world, the way that I see it, is for me.
Yeah.
And I love what I see, and I'm enjoying my experience. That's what it's for. But if I'm just telling you, like, this is my experience and this is what you need to do in order to have my experience, it's like, well, that doesn't translate anyway. You are never going to have my experience. Why am I
Yeah.
trying to focus on you?
Yeah, this is something that I notice about myself sometimes. Whenever I'm having a good time, sometimes I'll have the proclivity to want to advertise it. Like, I want people to know how much I love this song at a concert.
Yeah,
And
but
sometimes
that's and that's human, and that do it,
yeah, but I'm saying, like, but I also will be like, this energy is for me. So this gift of how much I love this song is for me, and I'm not going to give it away. And so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to really feel this.
Right, you're just going to like be in it, and it's so nice just to be in a life that you have made and that you can experience joyfully. Because other people, they've made, not every other person, but other people, they make lives that look good aesthetically. And I'm like, yeah, but your experience of it is terrible.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I always think about like a beautiful sweater that's itchy on the inside.
Yeah. Exactly that. And it's so, I know this one person that, in my opinion, has a dream life. They do what they love, and they go around the world doing this thing. They're very good at what they do. So they get very high-end clients, flying them places, because what they do has to do with art.
Mm-hmm.
They go around the world to view art. And I'm like, dream.
Wow.
They do not experience that life as such. They experience it's a very stressful thing. They do not like it. They want to get out of it. And I'm like, wow. But I think that about my life. And I think that about most people's lives. It's like somebody dreams of your life. Somebody looks at your life and they're like, if only. So why don't you look at your life that way? So that's what I try to do with my life. If I ever find myself doing the like, oh, I'm suffering, I'm like, Angel, people dream of your life.
Yeah.
Why don't you? And then I'm like, that's right. I used to dream of my life.
My mind's still hung up on the energy conservation stuff because that feels like such a powerful topic. Another thought process is like, um, yeah, just have fun on your own. Like just by yourself without, because there's something really, really, really beautiful, at least that I've experienced with. I'm naturally a very social butterfly. I'm naturally a very
Mm,
social person and
mm.
extroverted, and I get a lot of energy from other people. And so there can be this like I'm borrowing my sense of good energy from the responses I'm getting from others.
You're right.
But learning to play alone is a great thing from an energetic perspective, that I'm going to have fun in my heart, in my quiet life experience. And if you want to peer into it, you'll see something beautiful.
So mine is the opposite, where
Go for it.
I love time by myself, and I
Mm,
love keeping my little secrets and keeping my little. So for me, it's the opposite. It's like, how can I learn to share it with somebody?
mm.
Let someone view, like, just peek into my world, or can I share this with someone without it being like, no, it's mine? So I'm
What's
like,
that?
okay.
How's that been? How has that helped you? Like learning to share?
Um, I, I think the pendulum swing, right, is that I grew up in communes with a million people and nothing was sacred. Um,
Makes sense. I forgot
and the
about the
swing,
goal. Damn
people do it.
it! I
I get it.
forgot about the goal.
But this is like the coding stuff, right? This is like how the structure was built. Um, and whenever you leave something extreme, you will swing to the other end. So my
Yeah.
swing to the other end was like, oh my God. The first time I started living by myself, I thought I would have a difficult time because I had only ever lived with, hundreds and then dozens and then people and then my husband. Um, and so going from that to living just by myself, I thought I was going to have a hard time. And everyone warned me about, like, you're going to be so lonely and at least get a pet. And I started living by myself, and everyone lied to me. Like,
You
this is the
loved it.
most I have ever felt in my life.
Yes.
And it just felt so, and going out and teaching yoga and seeing hundreds of people throughout the week, but I had a place to come home to that was mine, and like nobody
Mm.
knew that I was there, and all my stuff was in a certain place, and I loved it. It was so cozy. So then now I'm going to do that with the whole world. Now I'm going to have like my little restaurants, I'm going to have my little alleyways, I'm going to have so I create myself this world to live in
Yeah.
that I so enjoy. And
My
I love
alleyways, my tunnels.
my community, um, and just things that I love and cherish. And if you are special enough, then
Mm.
I will show you what I have
Ah,
discovered.
yeah.
And then realizing, like, yeah, that's nice that I've built this for myself, but it is also very selfish.
Mm.
Um, Not in a way that, like, what a bummer, I shouldn't have done it, but in the way that, wouldn't it be nice now to share it with people? Like, could you share it with people? And can it still be a good experience when it's not just you?
Yeah.
And so then I start sharing my favorite restaurants, or I'll bring someone to my favorite place, or I'll bring them along. Okay, this is the combination that I do. I start here, I stop here on the way, and then this is the full loop. And then after that, this is my ritual. So
How
can
you
I start
feel?
sharing? It feels really good. But because I share it with people that I know will enjoy it.
Mm.
Like other
Mm.
people who are on that same vibe. Like, I don't, so an analogy that I like to use is I have two friends. One of them, very introverted, doesn't get out much. Little things are very meaningful to her.
Mhm.
The other person, incredibly extroverted, out all the time, has tons of stuff. And one day there was like a flower shop. This is like, sounds like one of those radio things, but there was a flower shop opening. And so they had like a 30% off or something like that. So I was like, okay, let me send somebody flowers. Like, whoever it is, whatever, it's 30% off. I'm going to get somebody flowers. So I walked in and I had checked my phone, and both of them had texted me. And I was like, oh, I could send it to either of them because I love them both. But the person who is extroverted and is outside all the time, it wouldn't really mean that much to her
Hmm.
because she gets flowers all the time. Like,
Hmm.
she would be happy. She would be thankful. It would be amazing. We'd be like, let's go get dinner. It would be cute. And then the other person, it would be like deeply meaningful. And she would notice that I thought of her, and it would be meaningful that I thought of her. So immediately it was like, obviously it's going to them, because I know that like it would brighten both people's days, but it would hit someone in the heart if I picked that person.
Yeah.
And the other person would post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
cute, but not, but the meaning of it, it would mean something different. So when I show people and bring people, if they're people that have like a deep, the capability to, depending on your capability of feeling or your capability of appreciation, I'll show you the little things that I appreciate. And then that is really fun, because again, I'll calibrate. So then when I draw you in, then it is really exciting, because if we can appreciate it on the same level.
It's really cool though, like the full circle moment of like starting off in an environment that nothing is secret, nothing is private, and then retreating into your own sense of privacy and loving that and establishing that, and then like the Buddhist phrase, the healing is in the return, like back to sharing, but now it's intentional, it's consensual too.
Right. Now there's a choice, which somehow helps a lot.
Yeah. So how are things going in Indonesia?
Great. I am learning a lot. It is a very good school. I am confronted with a lot of things that I never would be confronted with.
What are you in school for?
Life school.
Ah.
School of hard knocks.
God, I want to see my report card. I want to see my teacher's notes. Jesus.
My life's work is now coming online, because I've had enough time to myself to get really bored of myself, where I'm like, ugh, not you again. And it becomes like, I read this book. It's called Leading from the Dreaming, and it was a really lovely book. Totally
Leading
like,
the dreaming.
Leading from the Dreaming. And it's this person in Australia who was in like a corporate job, and for some reason that wasn't satisfying. I've never heard that before.
For some reason.
And
What?
I know, weird.
What? The corporate ladder.
And,
come on, man.
yeah,
Time.
strange. Anyways, he goes and he studies with indigenous people, with the Aboriginals, and they talk about being beneficial to your children's 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 children. So it's like 4 generations out. Are you doing anything that will benefit 4 generations out? And of course, when I think about that, I'm like, I'm not even doing anything. Like, I don't even have children. Like, nothing is benefiting anybody. I'm just having a fun time in my life, which is great. I enjoy it. But I have been given so much in my life. I have been given so much, and I've traversed such a vast landscape of human experience. And if there is anything that I can leave behind, if I can leave behind a goalpost or a marker or a trail, then wouldn't that be worth it? Wouldn't that be a worthy thing to do? So how can I now traverse my way back into the dark night of the soul and leave a trail? So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Just to like draw a distinction on what we're talking about now, because there is a bit of an irony on like the, don't help anybody, and then it's like, no, I help 4 generations away. But I feel like the difference.
But the thing is I won't be here for it, right? So how can I possibly help 4 generations out?
Yeah, it definitely shifts you out of the interpersonal drama of like, I need to change you to make me feel like a hero.
I mean, I get no credit for it, because by the time 4 generations out, they don't even know who wrote the book. Or if they do, it's just my name, but like, who cares? By the time it hits them, it will have been gone through many iterations.
Okay, so
but is the teaching solid?
Yeah. So if I'm tracking with you on this, so like the idea here is to help, but it's a different version of helping, and specifically, it's not about like helping someone else with their problem that they're dealing with. It's more so taking what you've learned in your life and expressing it fully as a gift back to reality, and then leaving it without a name on it.
Well, I have been helped by
Don't know if you can hear me, but we're frozen. Hello.
Are we back?
We're back.
Okay, great.
You have been helped, is what your first line was. I have been helped.
Well, I've been helped by Maya Angelou. I've been helped by Epictetus. I've been helped by Viktor Frankl. I've been helped by ayahuasca. None of these, like, they're not alive, ayahuasca is. But, like, Epictetus is dead. Maya Angelou is gone. Viktor Frankl is gone. These people are gone.
Right.
But they left something behind that is healing on a soul level for me.
Yeah.
And it has, they don't know me. They never will. They will in the ayahuasca realm. But they don't know, nor do they care. They were doing something that they couldn't not do. Like in simply being themselves, this just ripples through. Yeah. So in simply being myself, what can ripple through? And God, I would hope it can help somebody, but it would help them help themselves. It wouldn't be a reliance, it would be it would help them to unlock an understanding of themselves. And that's really the only way that we help anybody.
What is it feeling that's coming through you? Like, what's the teachings?
Again, how to traverse the internal and external worlds and not pretending like one or the other doesn't exist, because you have people who are in the physical realm, right? Like you have, we'll just do an archetypal. You have somebody who's like in tech. The only thing they care about is scientific data and is the bottom line going up? And then they wonder, why is the midlife crisis here? Why do I want to kill myself? It's like, because you have completely ignored your internal world. You only accept like physical material things as actual real things. And there's a whole world that you're neglecting and it's killing you. And then on the other end of the spectrum, it's like somebody who's so, quote, empathetic and so deep in their feelings that they can't leave the house because somebody's gonna look at them weird and they're gonna feel like this person's looking at me and that makes me sad. Or there's a homeless person and then they'll just crumble. And it's like, okay, you're paying too much attention now to the internal world. Like you got to learn how to traverse. You have to learn how to hold both. And the deeper you can go into the internal worlds, the more your external world will sort itself out. But it's not true the other way.
How has your experience in life impacted this message you're sharing? Like, how has it helped craft what your gift is to others?
I think that I've walked very aggressively into both worlds. I think that coming out of the cults, and they relied so heavily on feelings and making you feel bad and using shame or making you feel joy. And the reason, they would get you for feelings, and feelings was the base of everything. And Jesus said, you should feel better. And then going full stop. Jesus said everything.
Jesus said a lot of shit, man. That boy was yapping.
I know.
Do you believe Jesus existed?
Oh, of course. I saw him in ayahuasca.
Yeah. Okay. And a physical form?
Yeah, he had no head, but yeah. So I think that Jesus existed like Buddha existed.
Drug Jesuses. I met black gay Jesus on a ketamine trip one time. It was fantastic.
But that's the thing, is I think that people who get walked into like, Jesus is this one, white Jesus is this one thing, and I refuse any other experience. It's like you're missing out on all the other Jesuses.
It did, yeah. It was some marijuana and ketamine, and at one point I was walking up these golden gates and I saw heaven and the doors open and Jesus popped out and he was black and he was gay and he goes, hey, like that. And I said, you're gay? And he says, of course. And then everything exploded. Yeah. So anyways, so you met Jesus. Jesus exists. And the cult says Jesus said you can feel better. We'll bring it back.
Yes. Okay. So.
Yeah. Black gay Jesus. Sorry, my buddy.
Going the other direction to be like, there's no God. The only thing that I am going to look at is scientific data. and I'm going to look at logic. And if you cannot explain those things to me, I do not care and I will not engage.
Yeah.
And then go into that realm and then being like, why am I so unhappy?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought I would be better by now. Because like I only
that's where
believe
you went.
things. That's where I went. Yeah, because that's the pendulum, right? It has to swing. So then only having very rigid friends and very rigid beliefs and everything is so rigid and I refuse anything. And then being like, but then why, why do I have these physical problems, or why do I still have these emotional problems, or why are my relationships this way? And it's like, okay, go back. I'm like, I don't want to go back into that world unless I have a navigational system. So then it's like, all right, well, let's anchor, right? Let's use an anchor out here and then go in. And if it works, then great, then go a little deeper. And then once I'm over here, I can anchor on the other side and then pull away from the external world, or like the physical part, and then recreate like a new thing, like discover it for the first time again. So it's great. And for me now, it's because I've done it a lot. It's very simple for me to explain. And I have like a little infinity symbol that I use. And, the body is the only one. Like, the infinity symbol. So
Yeah,
like one side is
your teaching.
Internal. And then at the middle point is the body. And the body is the only thing that can do both. Like you have your internal experience impacts your body. Like if I yell at you and call you names, you'll feel that in the body, And so even though it's invisible, it's still, the body takes impact. And then anything physical that happens, of course, the body takes impact. So your body is the thing that is the multidimensional being. And we don't know how to understand or use the body. So I'm like, okay, let's learn it.
I'm really interested in talking more about that. The body specifically being the teacher.
Yes. I mean, it's the best teacher, and it's so obvious too. We're just so used to ignoring it.
You feel truth in your body.
You do. Yeah. And it impacts you differently. Like you can sense truth. And that's why, like, we have intuition or whatever. And it's like, no, it's just that your body has a system. It has a mechanism. When someone is lying to you, you know it. And if you don't know it, it's because you've put stuff on top of it. We've practiced not listening to ourselves. We practice ignoring.
And got really good at it too.
That's so good.
Because the pain of the knowledge is like often it disrupts your life.
Especially if it's somebody close to you. There's if your partner is cheating, you don't want to believe it. That's terrible. So I'm just going to not investigate, and I'm just going to not, but then it's like, it's a gnawing thing. It's like, on some level, or like, if you're going to be fun, you feel the environment.
And okay. So like too, like, in relationships, like when things are coming to a close in a relationship, like, it's easy to project it onto the person. Like, why are you acting weird? Like one of my friends recently was in a relationship that ended after quite some time. And one of the areas of contention was towards the end, like him feeling from her, her being closed and her not being super juiced about this connection anymore. And him almost insisting that she does the talking by saying like, what's wrong? And I was like, dog, you knew what was wrong. Why are you asking her to do the hard work of saying it? Like, you want her to say what you know in your heart is true, and you're not going to say it. Why do you expect them to say it?
Well, the person who verbalizes it is the person that you can shift blame towards, right?
Yeah.
So that's another very interesting way to view things, is the person who won't ever address the issue, but is the creator of the issue. But then when you put it into form by giving it words, now they have something against you because you were not supposed to put it into words. And then it's like, oh, because you feel bad like that, I'm supposed, sorry about it. But like, and you're like, okay. But my whole thing now is if somebody doesn't understand feelings, whether it's a client or a boss or a friend or whatever, if you don't understand something as simple as feelings, which is what children understand, then there's no connection possible at all. Because I take feelings into consideration, right? Like if you're like, hey, Angel, I really don't like this. This is making me feel bad. I'm going to be like, I'm sorry. How can I help? And if you have this whole complicated list of like, you need to blah, 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 then I'm going to be like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
But I do want you to have a good experience, and your feelings are valid. If you're like, this is making me really sad, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for me to engage with somebody who then is not going to take my feelings into consideration. So, the invisible world is invisible, but it is felt. And if you cannot feel it, then we just cannot communicate.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it. I'm not lying about it, or it's not lying necessarily, but I know it exists and I know it's impactful. And if you do not see that, that's fine, but there's no movement forward possible.
Do you think that the phrase "I don't know" is probably one of the most like indicative phrases of being emotionally detached? Saying, "I don't know what I want. I don't know what I feel. I don't know what's true." When you do, in fact, know. You just don't know. You just don't. You're not connected to it.
I think it has less to do, yes, and I think it's a courage thing.
I don't want to know.
Well, it's not that, but like when I knew that I was going to get divorced, I didn't want to. I don't want to know that I have to get divorced. That's so much work. And I love the person I'm married to. So like, I don't want to know that. I don't want to believe the cells in my body and my soul when it's like, you have to get out or you're going to die. I don't want to believe it. So it takes either a lot of pain to force the issue or a lot of courage. And luckily for me, I was like, I'm going to go the courage route.
Yeah, move early.
Yeah, but it's also, you do have to then bear the responsibility of pain that you've caused. And for me, I don't like causing pain, but I would rather cause pain than suffering, because those are two very different things. Like first something is confusing, and then it's painful, and then it's harmful. So it was already confusing, and then it's in the painful stage. And I'm like, I'm not going to go further, because it's fine if something is painful, but if it gets harmful, that's very, very bad.
What do you mean?
So like if we're in a relationship and one of us starts to act, quote, weird, then it's like, oh, I'm confused why you didn't just tell me that. Or I'm confused why you didn't tell me that you were going to be late. Or I'm like, that's weird. So that's the first. And then the next step is like, it's painful. You're not talking to me, or I'm not talking to you, or like, it's just, it's now we're at the painful stage. And then after that, we step into a harmful stage where maybe I start calling you names, or you start calling me names, or like, never wanted to be here in the first place. And it's like, that's harmful. So as long as if you're in the confused stage, articulate it. If it can't be articulated, it becomes painful. And that's a really great indicator to like, all right.
I like those 3 stages: weird, painful, harmful. Don't get to the third.
Don't get to the third.
You also don't have to know why. Like, you don't have to be able to articulate why it doesn't work. I think that's something that keeps people in painful situations for long.
100%. And also, because I don't need you to view me a certain way. Like, I don't need you to think that I'm smart or I had good reasons or bad reasons. It's just, I don't feel like it. And I'm really just not going to explain it. If you don't get it, that's fine. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and explain and then explain again and then be like, because if you don't understand something, like,
that's probably one of the reasons that this isn't working anymore.
Here's my thing is that like anybody anywhere that knows anything about math or chemistry, it would be a waste of time to talk to me. I do not understand anything to do with math or chemistry. So you can be the best person in the world, the most intelligent at math, which is genius, and at chemistry, which again is genius. And you would waste your breath to tell me because I don't have the capacity.
The context.
If you tell me it's 7 times 7, I'll be like, that's cool. If you're like anything with an X or a symbol, I'm like, I don't know. And it is. It would be painful for both of us for you to try and communicate math to me, and for me to really try to understand. It's just not a match.
Yeah. Ooh, that's like
it's telling me my battery will sleep. So let me get a little
Okay.
Plug.
This episode is sponsored by sparkling water. If you're drinking regular ass water, get a life, man. This is like the greatest replacement for soda. And I haven't drank a soda in probably a year and a half because all I drink is sparkling water. I was just doing it. I was just filling the dead space with a fake ad.
You're like, it's time for us to talk about how much
today's sponsor.
Yeah.
That right there too is like, yeah, you'll go crazy trying to understand why something's not working sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's not like, because you already understand it's not working. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Why it's not working is a waste of your time. You have other things to do in life. So move on to those. You don't have to write a book on like why me and this person don't work out.
I also think that why is one of the more useless questions. I used to think it was a really good question, but why is kind of irrelevant? I think it's more useful to ask how. Like, how am I going to move forward? How am I going to look at something else? How am I going to help myself? How? Versus what?
Yeah.
Because
very grounding.
Just because it is. That's why.
That's right. Yeah. Because why can be a sense of like, it's just a practice of not accepting. But why? I don't understand. I need to understand before I can accept it. But you don't. You can just accept it.
Right. Like if things just are, and there is no explanation for why, now you can ask a different question.
Yeah.
And
this whole topic is really painful. And the bright side of it, though, is the energy that you have in your life from alignment is the greatest thing ever. And the cost of alignment is painful decision, literally using the word decision in the sense of cutting off from. But that's the point of this. So it's not like a masochistic. I think masochistic would be the self-inflicted pain as enjoyment, right? Yeah. It's like a masochistic practice of like, I just like to tear myself away from things. But like, I know that when my life is aligned, there's just this flow of energy in my body. And I get the thing that I wanted to get from everything else prior as a byproduct of just leaning into the truth.
100%.
So it's so much better to live like that.
I agree. And much less effort.
Effortless. Yeah. This girl that I've been talking to for a few weeks said something that we have shared with each other quite a few times in our just kind of comparing notes in our dating processes, is being that alignment feels effortless. Alignment should feel effortless. And that's a beautiful thought process.
Yeah, I agree. And it's easy. It's so, I think that we give so much. What is the word? What is the word for like weight? I guess that's the word. We give so
sounds
much
like a good word to me.
To effort. And we think we need to deserve things. And in order to deserve things, we need to exert the correct amount of effort in order to deserve the thing.
Yeah.
And that's just not true. And you could just like calm down and the thing will show up if it's meant to show up.
Yeah.
And then it's effortless. There are people.
Good.
Well, just like people ask me how I got this job and like, why did they pick you? How did you convince? I didn't do anything. I was just existing as myself. And somehow somebody was like, this is really useful.
Yeah.
Will you blank, blank, blank? Sure. Because it just requires me being myself. I can do that very easily. It's simple.
Yeah. Settling back into your own seat and saying that my life is on a path already and that my job is to like allow my life to move me in the direction it's already taken me. Have you read the book, The Surrender Experiment?
Yes, and I will tell you, the first time I read it, I was like, this is the stupidest book I've ever read. What a useless book.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I read it, I was like, this is great. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Such a beautiful book.
Yeah.
Last time we talked, you had not done LSD yet. Have you done LSD yet?
Right. Due to my current circumstances, being that the penalty for anything in Indonesia is death, I'm going to say no.
Okay. Understood.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yes.
Didn't you have a friend that had done LSD recently that told you about their experience that you said you were going to tell me about?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to share about that person's experience now? Because you were saying when we chatted earlier, you said that she called you, she told you all about it.
Yes.
Where was it?
However,
Where did she do?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't recall.
So I talked to you last, but I had done plant medicine. Yeah.
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 Okay.
He said, yeah.
Well, since moving, because when I was doing the back and forth, I would go back, and I would sit. And the last time I went back, which was like
To LA?
maybe, yeah, I sat, and it came through even before the ceremony, as I was like speaking to and working out the details. It came through that like this is the last one for a while, and I was like, okay. So I sat, and it was my last one for a while, and I haven't done it since then because you need to integrate, and so I have had like a year and a half of integration of just everything that I've ever learned. I'm now on fire, and I have to utilize what I've learned. And when you're having those experiences, you experience it as truth in your body. So as I'm here having a difficult time, but I know that these other things are true. So then it's a matter of, can I let my ego go enough to pull in this thing that I know is true, even though it's very difficult for me right now to like be like, I'm wrong. This thing needs to layer in, and then I will understand it differently. And then it was just a lot of the work of doing that. And that's been really incredible. Has it been pleasant? No. Has it been very useful and beneficial for the rest of my life? Yes. So I still have not sat again because, when they want you, they'll let you know. So I'm like,
okay. I haven't done ayahuasca yet.
Okay. When it wants you, it's going to tap you on the shoulder.
I swore off psychedelics for 5 years. 5 years ago.
Okay.
So
well.
yeah. Recently, I've just been like,
One thing that's interesting that I will say is when I've sat before, it's been a very pleasant experience. It's been at a nice place, great facility, so comfortable. And somebody that I know and I respect, they go and they sit in the jungle. And they're like, yeah, it's a terrible time. You should come. And I was like, no.
Perfect.
Absolutely not. And they were like, no, part of the experience is allowing yourself to have a difficult experience. That's the whole thing. And
life in a nutshell. Human life.
Yes. Being that now I understand that like pain is such a valuable part of the experience. And if you don't fight pain, if you feel pain and you don't fight it, but you try to understand it and you work with it, and it will teach you, it becomes such a valuable thing to be able to be in the pain without resisting it. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it now. Why allowing yourself to have a terrible time is a great thing.
Yeah.
And pain is not optional, but suffering is. So it's like, take the good, experience the pain. You do not need to suffer over it. Because there's lessons in pain. There are no lessons in suffering.
Yeah. It's just giving you an arrow back to the message that was in the pain. It's like you have overdue tasks.
I'm telling you the same thing, and you keep on ignoring it. I heard this thing. I thought it was so funny. And it was like, hey, does anyone know about the hero's journey? So far, I haven't gotten past refusal of the call.
That's funny.
I know. I thought it was so cute. I was like, I've been there.
Well, Angel, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you.
Such a pleasure. Yes.
Mm.
I love it.
Anything that we touched on that you want to throw another word at?
The thing that I told my friend this morning when they called me, they were having a bad time. They were suffering. Thing
Pain
I
or
told
suffering?
them, suffering. Which is why I was able to say this, because I was like, you're not in pain, you're just suffering at this point. And suffering is a choice. Suffering a choice is that you have made this choice to suffer because you refuse to get out of the pain. The pain somehow is serving you and you're enjoying it because you get to suffer. And so the thing that I told them was like, you have to find power in the situation. You feeling powerless is really serving your ego, where you like just love being powerless and you're like, this thing happened again. And I'm like, stop connecting with that person. It's happening again because you're allowing it to, like, at some point, where is your power in the situation? You're never powerless. Even if this is against you, even if you're in a cult, even if you don't exist in the real world, you have no social security number, you have choice. So you have to find your power in every situation, and you have to rally yourself to use all of it. Use all of it. Why aren't you using all of it? What are you saving it for? Use all of it. So that is the thing that I told her. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Power. Wonderful chat.
Another great moment.